The Charlotte Hornets operating profits have tripled since LaMelo Ball has joined the ball club. In the last year, the valuation for the Hornets franchise has went up 8%. Now, Michael Jordan, who initially paid, I believe it was $175 million in 2010 for controlling interest of the ball club, is a happy camper. We're going to get into this today, and we're going to answer the question: is the Ball brothers good for business? Let's do it.
Triple B's! AB the hero. Back at it, baby.
So Forbes released this article here where they have the top franchises and who's worth the most. The Charlotte Hornets fall on here at number 27, when the value of $1.7 billion would it be. Michael Jordan, the owner, purchased in 2010. Price paid $175 million. I believe that they were saying adjusted for inflation and all that stuff, it'd be $228 million in today's money. That's a steal, if you ask me. Operating income, $94 million. Revenue, $269 million. This operating income is the number to watch as we get through and talk about through this stuff through this video. This is the number, I believe. All right. So your revenue is $269 million. After you done paid everybody and did all of the stuff, you're walking away with $94 million before you start to depreciate assets, amortization, pay interest, and all that jazz. You know what I'm saying? Interesting stuff here, though, and this is one of the things that I found interesting about this here article is when we start talking about the fans, right, and how sometimes folks who can put butts in the seats are very important, because you go here and you see this franchise, the revenue per fan, $37. So for everybody who is a Charlotte Hornets fan, the Hornets are expecting an average of $37 from you over the course of a year. Add into that number. So if you are a business and you're saying like, man, how do we get people to, all right, $37, we can expect that. Let's go out and get millions and millions and millions of fans to then, you know what I mean, essentially give us this $37. Now you give that through a bunch of different ways, I'm sure. Tickets, you go buy popcorn, you go to the game, all of that stuff. Even if you don't do that, you might buy a jersey, woo, and a lot of y'all ain't giving nothing. So folks who spend a ton averages out $37. Now, here's this article here, and this is kind of funny because it's like article inception. It's like this article wrote an article based off an article, based off an article, based off an article, but all of it's still pretty solid, good information. So here's where we see the financial data compiled by the magazine shows that the projected operating income was $94 million in the 2021-2022 season. So that was last season, up from $34 million from the previous season. And you might say, well, the previous season was during COVID. That was 2020, 2021. There was a lot of stuff happening. The buildings were open, but things were a little bit smaller. And so, I mean, the numbers and capacities were a bit more limited. So, you know what I mean? It was down. That might make sense. But the full year, 2018, 2019, before, you know what I'm saying, the 2020 pandemic season, the operating profit was only at $39 million. So you see that there's definitely a huge boost in that. Some people may say, well, you know, there is just a lot more money going around in the NBA currently. In this article here, they talk about some of the sales of NFTs, streaming, and all of these things just have boosted the values of all franchises across the board. However, there are certain things that have boosted the value of this Charlotte Hornets franchise, and a lot of that has to do with your boy LaMelo Ball. Here's some other important information we can look at. So, including, let's see, the franchise. CBJ reported the franchise tickets and sponsorship sales has peaked in recent months, including a fully sold out lower level for the entire season. So it's going to be hard to get them courtside seats if you're trying to get them. A first since the NBA returned in 2004. So this has not happened where the lower bowl has sold out since 2004 in Charlotte. And they've had some pretty solid teams since then. A lot of folks really high on the Kemba Walker era, and people champion that. The first time Steve Clifford was there, they had a little playoff run, but still folks weren't tapped in and tuned in like they are now. Here's some other important stuff. So, as you can see, the sales of sponsorships and tickets are doing well, but there's also a new change happening in Charlotte where Charlotte reached a new high for season ticket sales over the summer, despite a price hike of 18%. So, when we look at that number going from 39 million to 90 some million, with this new hike in prices, expect that number to continue to go up. This to me is all really big things because we know that this Hornets franchise has a history of being a bit on the cheap side. They're preparing to know that we got to start breaking this bag down if we want to continue to make things happen. Michael Jordan bought the franchise at $175 million. Now that boy one bit. Come on now. So a lot of interesting stuff here going on in this article. One of the other key points that I wanted to talk about is here, the expansion. So the city last summer approved spending of $215 million for the arena upgrades scheduled to begin next year and continue through 2027. This is important because additional revenue gains could be realized through upcoming improvements. Changes typically aimed at enhancing fan comfort so that prices can be raised. So just go ahead and know that this Hornets franchise, they're not playing with y'all right now, and they're trying to go get it back. So this is why I was saying before, the Ball Bros are good for business, and it only makes sense to go ahead and put that boy LiAngelo up there and sell out some more tickets, you feel me? Keep him more, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just did an interview recently with LeVar, and that was one of the big things that we talked about is that how good the business can be if you tap in. If you have not tapped in with these interviews from LeVar, man, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna put the link to the playlist here on the end card of this video. It's your main man, AB the Hero. We are getting up out of here. Peace.
Be the hero. No, not peace. +1, triple B's. We out.